Whoever advised the military to do this advised them wrongly. Dr. Abati used to talk about institutional memory. It's obvious the military doesn't have it. You see, these are the things that easily destroy the image of the military, and they have just done it to themselves again.
Imagine you live in a high-rise building, right? You find out the fire alarms are just completely broken.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is terrifying.
Right, so you grab a megaphone, you stand in the lobby, and you just warn everybody. But instead of fixing the alarms, building security just locks you in a closet,
right,
which, solves absolutely nothing.
Exactly. Material. We are looking at a stack of recent Nigerian news reports and some very heated TV commentary today. And they all center around this exact scenario playing out on a massive national scale.
Yeah, so the core of this controversy really revolves around a viral commentator. He goes by Justice Crack, and he posted these very raw, totally unfiltered videos directly addressing the poor welfare of Nigerian soldiers.
Right, he was talking about low morale and really dangerous operational conditions, wasn't he?
Exactly. And
whoever advised the military to do this advised them wrongly. Dr. Abati used to talk about institutional memory. It's obvious the military doesn't have it. You see, these are the things that easily destroy the image of the military, and they have just done it to themselves again. A man released a report. You have sent your people here in defense to come and defend the report.
That's an interview that you
had. An interview. The day you came,
clarify.
They brought in pictures of what's it called? Normal Malu our food, and they say the military people are eating to enjoy themselves.
I remember, yeah.
It was a retired general. Yeah, he spoke for the military. You've put up a first line of defense. All right? You've had your right of reply. You will have just allowed it ended that. Even if the right of reply, I debunked them because I just asked one question. RCA, is it 3,000 naira or not? The general was struggling that day. Now, you all saw it now. It's water free of charge. So after you have done that, you now went to pick up Justice Crack. You just made Justice Crack more popular. You impinge upon his rights. And when people are now talking against the military, you are saying they are talking against them. The military will have just made his own case that he will look into the matter and keep quiet and move on. Secondly, you've now bundled him. You've now gone to charge him. Should be in their statement before they said he was supporting subversion. Where's the subversion in the charge? Vimbai, we can't live in a country this way. That's why they were seen mutilating another the cable journal. We didn't do anything. That was how we revealed the story of a military officer, a portrait of a major general, that went all the way to harass somebody in Abuja. Till today, the military will set up the committee, have not done anything. You see, when we start to talk about the image of the military going decrepit, when I was talking yesterday that we have no country, people thought I was joking. Let me even extend that conversation, Dr. Abati. Maybe now they can come and carry maybe your child, or Dr. Abati's child, or family member. God forbid that be. Dr. Abati, how about the military coming to carry your lovely wife like that?
In the interest of time.
Dr. Abati, or your children.
Dr. Abati,
is this fair?
Rufai.
That's not fair now.
In the interest
so let's
of
all
time,
go this way now.
Dr. Abati, your contributions.
Dr. Abati, go ahead.
I wish bring my children to speak for us.
So you say go for him. But Justice Crack is not somebody's children.
But I'm speaking up for him. Let's hear Dr.
It's not somebody's child.
But what we're also asking is that let justice be done for Justice Crack. I want to see what the outcome of the court process would be, because the T reportage is put out. The first instinct, knee-jerk reaction, is either to deny without even an investigation instituted, or to pick up the person that put out the news. That is not how to build credible institutions. What we are asking for is accountability. What we're asking for is it's actually in favor of the military men. Some of these military men who have suffered on end for so long are the ones that release this information for civilians to help them advocate their case. That was what Justice Crack was doing. I hope that this is the age of social media, and you have to recognize it. We're not living in the Stone Ages. But what we're also asking is that let justice be done for.
Yeah, so the core of this controversy really revolves around a viral commentator. He goes by Justice Crack, and he posted these very raw, totally unfiltered videos directly addressing the poor welfare of Nigerian soldiers.
Right, he was talking about low morale and really dangerous operational conditions, wasn't he?
Exactly. And the immediate result of those posts, well, it was his detention by the military. I mean, if soldiers are suffering, you'd think the citizens should know, right? locking a citizen in a back room just kind of hides the systemic problems instead of actually solving them.
Well, yes, but the military views this entirely through the lens of active insecurity. Nigeria is fighting terrorism, banditry, and widespread kidnappings right now.
Yeah, the security situation there is incredibly intense.
Right, so when you are fighting active insurgencies, troop morale is not just about internal feelings, it is highly tactical. If an influencer is out there broadcasting that soldiers are starving or totally disillusioned, enemy factions can use that exact intelligence.
Oh, so they know exactly when the troops are too exhausted to fight back.
Precisely. They use it to literally time their attacks.
Wait, I really have to push back on that, though.
Eh.
I mean, is a social media video really giving terrorists a strategic advantage? Or is national security just a highly convenient excuse for the military to hide its own incompetence?
That is the million-dollar question, honestly.
Because it looks a lot more like institutional embarrassment than an actual tactical threat.
And that exact skepticism is why this escalated from a digital dispute into a massive national controversy. Because the military's response was just so severe, it actually completely backfired on them.
Right, the Streisand effect, basically.
Exactly. Instead of silencing the issue, the detention pushed the debate totally off the internet and straight onto national television. It tapped directly into the public's severe lack of trust in authority.
Which brings us to the television broadcasts we are reviewing today. Because over on Arise TV, commentator Rufai Oseni asked one extremely polarizing question regarding the arrest.
Yeah, he just asked, what did he say wrong?
Right, and that single question just completely fractured the national discourse.
It really forces a confrontation between two very distinct views on how a democratic society should even function.
Yeah, because on one side, defenders of the commentator argue that citizens absolutely must be allowed to speak about hardship without the constant fear of arrest.
Right, they view that kind of public exposure as literally the only mechanism left to force institutional accountability.
But then the opposing side contends that optimizing for social media virality during an active security crisis is just deeply reckless.
Yeah, their argument is that influencers often lack the operational context to understand the real-world consequences. Broadcasting troop vulnerabilities can actively cost lives.
And looking at how social media is changing the national discourse, I mean, the traditional gatekeepers are just gone. Anyone with a smartphone can trigger a national security crisis.
Or a major human rights debate.
Exactly. So where is the line between valid activism and actually risking lives? Because freedom of speech is rarely absolute, particularly concerning active military operations.
Well, the constant struggle for any democratic society is establishing that threshold. The system has to allow enough exposure to prevent injustice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But without that same exposure, creating chaotic vulnerabilities that, again, cost real lives.
Which leaves you, the listener, with a really difficult question to think about. If we accept that the military can arrest a citizen for a social media post under the justification of preventing dangerous misinformation during a crisis.
Right, a crisis that might not end anytime soon.
Exactly. What happens when that temporary crisis lasts for a decade? Who ultimately gets to decide the difference between a national threat and just an inconvenient truth?